Welcome to KMUZ Theater Talk. I'm your host, Ed Schoaps. KMUZ Theater Talk comes your way the first and third Fridays of the month with news and in-depth interviews about auditions and performances of plays and musicals running at theaters throughout the Mid-Willamette Valley. On today's episode, I'll interview choreographer Christopher Dean and actors Megan Smith and Benji Burgess about Disney's practically perfect in every way family musical, Mary Poppins, playing July 29th through August 7th at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park. But first, let's check the KMUZ Theater Talk calendar for news about auditions and shows happening at your favorite Mid-Willamette Valley theaters. At Gallery Theater in downtown McMinnville, if you want to see The Curious Savage, you're in luck. Here's the story. Before The Curious Savage opened on June 18th, all 3 weekends of performances through August 3rd sold out. But the good news is the gallery has added a 4th weekend of shows on August 8th through 10th. Get the hottest tickets in McMinnville now before they're gone. And before you see the show, check out the KMUZ Theater Talk podcast for an interview with director Tanya Nichols and actors Beck Hazel and Sarah Horning from this timeless comedy, where a wealthy widow discovers that money can't buy happiness, but it can fund dreams if you can keep it away from your greedy relatives. And from August 29th through September 21st at Gallery, the musical Xanadu by Bean, Lynn, and Farrar comes to the Gallery main stage. Xanadu tells the story of Kira, a beautiful Greek muse who descends from Mount Olympus to 1980s Venice Beach to help Sonny, a struggling artist, create his ultimate dream, the first roller disco. But when Kira falls for Sonny, her jealous sisters interfere, creating a whirlwind of chaos and laughter. Xanadu is directed by Kelly Jansen and Marlon Nutman. And don't wait to get tickets for this popular musical. It's bound to sell out fast as well. For show information and tickets, go to gallerytheater.org. On Newburgh's Penguin Productions outdoor stage this summer from July 24th through August 9th is Upon the King, written by William Shakespeare, conceived and adapted by Andrew Philpott. Upon the King is adapted from 8 of Shakespeare's greatest history plays, weaving one continuous story of England's crown as it passes from king to king. From the 100 Years' War with France to the chaos of the War of the Roses, it captures the triumphs, betrayals, and humanity behind the throne, only as Shakespeare can tell it. For show information and tickets, go to the Penguins on Stage website. For Greater Salem area theaters at Bridgetown Conservatory in Salem, registration is open for the fall term of Bridgetown's college prep class, running September 13th through November 1st. These classes aim to give high school students the skills and training they need to successfully get accepted at their college theater program of choice. Bridgetown students have had a remarkable 100% acceptance rate for the past 3 years running after attending college prep classes at the Bridgetown Conservatory Studio in downtown Salem. Go to bridgetownconservatory.org and Facebook for information about college prep classes and for links and tickets to Bridgetown performances. At Children's Educational Theater in Salem, CET's student shows will be playing at venues throughout the Salem area starting July 16th through 25th. The shows include Improv and Songwriters Night, Midsummer Festival, Giraffes Can't Dance, Aladdin, The Tolstoy Story Play, Legally Blonde Jr., and Beetlejuice Jr. For more information and tickets, go to cetsalem.org or their Facebook page. At Kaiser Homegrown Theater, after a summer break, The Lion in Winter by James Goldman and directed by Linda Baker will close Kaiser Homegrown's 2025 season November 1st through 16th. Comedic in tone, dramatic in action, The Lion in Winter follows the Plantagenet family who are locked in a free-for-all of competing ambitions set against the backdrop of a medieval Christmas. As the oft-imprisoned Queen Eleanor says, every family has its ups and downs, and this bunch of royals is no exception. For show information and tickets, go to kaiserhomegrowntheater.org and their Facebook page. At Pinnacle Theater in Salem, Black Comedy, the delirious British romp set in a blackout, closes at Pinnacle Theater July 19th. That's followed by the large cast musical Hairspray coming to the Pinnacle Theater stage August 15th through September 6th. Set in 1960s Baltimore, this Tony-winning family-friendly show is directed by Robert Sahlberg. Hairspray is sure to be a solid hit musical, so get your tickets now at pinnacletheater.org before it sells out. On the Pinnacle Theater call board, director Jennifer Jimzewski will hold auditions tomorrow, July 19th, for a comedy of tenors by Ken Ludwig. The show runs October 3rd through 25th. And director Karen McCarty will hold auditions August 23rd for In-Laws, Outlaws, and Other People That Should Be Shot by Steve Franco. This holiday show runs November 21st through December 13th. See the pinnacletheater.org website and Facebook page for tickets, audition information, and to sign up for acting workshops. Struts and Frets Theater Company presents Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, September 4th through 6th at the River's Edge Amphitheater in downtown Independence. This classic comedy is beloved by all ages and features a cast of experienced and energetic performers. So don't miss it. See the Struts and Frets Facebook and Instagram pages for show information and reserve your tickets now at eventbrite.com. Theater 33's 2025 Summer Regional New Plays Festival opens July 29th at Willamette University in Salem and runs through August 10th. In its 12th year, this summer's festival is going regional, staging 9 performances of 6 new Pacific Northwest plays in 2 different theaters each week on the campus of Willamette University. Theater 33 is a new play development company that helps Pacific Northwest playwrights develop new plays as script-in-hand workshop productions to fully produced shows with lights, sound, props, sets, and costumes on the Willamette University main stage. This year's 3x33 full productions will rotate on the Pelton Theater stage July 29th through August 10th. They include The City and the Sea, a new musical set in Astoria, Oregon by Paul Lewis, opening July 29th. Confabulous, a comedy drama by Susan Faust, opening July 30th. And Wag Me, a new thriller by R. Nicholas, opening July 31st. The festival also includes 3 short pop-up plays that first open at Portland State University before moving to the Willamette University Putnam Theater. The pop-ups are Coal is King by Quick Jones, running July 11th through August 8th. It's about a trailblazer for other women working in the coal industry. And this one also plays at the Capitol Auto Pavilion in Salem. 2 more pop-up plays will play at Portland State University and Willamette University July 12th through August 10th. They are I Want You, a dramatic comedy by Kathleen Cahill, and Proper, a steampunk comedy of manners by Angela Gierko. And as a festival bonus, from July 26th through 27th, Northwest Theater Workshop and Theater 33 will present Detours, a fun and surprise-filled walking theatrical tour of Willamette University, the oldest campus in the West. Catch my interview with Theater 33's Tom Nabhan and Susan Cormel on the KMUZ Theater Talk podcast for all of the 2025 Summer Regional New Plays Festival details. Go to theater33.org and their Facebook page for more festival details and to reserve your tickets. For the Staten and Silverton area theaters, at Brush Creek Playhouse in Silverton, Miscast, Moonbeams and Shooting Stars plays July 18th through 20th. This evening of Broadway, cabaret, and twisted fun is directed by Russell Oliveira Jr. The Bad Seed by Maxwell Anderson runs August 15th through 31st. On the surface, little Rhonda Penmark is sweet, charming, loved by her parents, and admired by her elders. But her mother has an uneasy feeling about Rhoda when one of her schoolmates mysteriously drowns at a picnic. The Bad Seed is directed by Russell Oliveira. The Enchanted Bookshop, featuring a cast of students aged 6 through 15, plays at Brush Creek September 11th through 21st. It's written by Todd Walliger and directed by Jennifer Abdel. The story is about a plain-looking shop where characters from books magically come alive at night. Go to brushcreekplayhouse.com and Facebook for audition, show, and ticket information. At Spotlight Community Theater in downtown Staten, they've announced their 2025-26 season. This summer's Act on Radio show is Fibber McGee and Molly, playing August 15th through 17th. The fall production is Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express, adapted for the stage by Ken Ludwig, running September 25th through August 5th. The winter musical is Aladdin Trouble, on stage February 12th through 28th, and the spring production is Robin Hood and Other Adventurously Funny Stories, running April 24th through May 12th. Spotlight Summer Drama Day Camp happens August 4th through 8th for young performers aged 7 through 12 and teen helpers aged 13 through 19. This summer, Spotlight brings Shakespeare to life with a kid-friendly adaptation of Hamlet. On the Spotlight Community Theater call board, there's a casting call for 3 female and 7 male voice actors to perform a radio show recreation of 2 Fibber McGee and Molly episodes. Auditions are July 19th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Spotlight in downtown Staten. Performance dates are August 15th through 17th. The show is directed by Shannon Rempel. For show and audition information and tickets, see Spotlight's Facebook page and go to spotlightct.com. For the Albany and Corvallis area theaters, on stage at Albany Civic Theater, Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf takes to the Albany Civic Stage for just 2 weekends, from July 18th through 26th. Get your tickets now for just 6 performances of Albee's masterwork of Fun and Games with George and Martha. And listen to my interview with director Sarah Roth and the 2 lead actors from Albee's Perfect Drama on the KMUZ Theater Talk podcast. ACT summer camp students will perform Shrek the Musical Junior August 15th through 23rd at the theater, and that's followed by the first show of ACT's 25-26 season, Noel Coward's classic comedy Blythe Spirit. Is directed by Shauna Kifuk and runs September 19th through October 4th. Audition dates coming soon. On the Albany Civic Call Board, it's back. That's right, fake blood fans. Auditions for a revival of the popular cult comedy Evil Dead the Musical happen July 21st and 22nd, with callbacks on July 23rd. Director Joanna Spencer is casting the roles of Cheryl, Ed, and ensemble members. However, all the other roles have been pre-cast. Evil Dead and the Splash Zone return to the ACT stage October 24th through November 8th. For audition details, show information, and tickets, go to albanycivic.org and Facebook. At the Mid-Valley Musical Theater in Albany, Walt Disney's Tarzan the Musical, with music by Phil Collins, runs August 7th through 16th at the Albany Performing Arts Center. This family-friendly show is directed by Diane Allen, with music direction by Eric McCurdy, and features Brandon Allen as Tarzan, with Rose Davis and Libby Klutz double cast as Jane. For show information, tickets, and details, go to mvmtheater.org and Facebook. At the Majestic Theater in Corvallis, September 26th through October 5th, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald and adapted by Simon Levy will be on stage at the Majestic Theater. Director Laura Blackwell brings the breathtaking glamour and decadent excess of the jazz age to the stage in F. Scott Fitzgerald's classic story. And on the Majestic Theater call board, open auditions for The Producers, the Broadway hit musical by Mel Brooks, are set for August 4th and 5th at the theater in downtown Corvallis. Rehearsals start August 18th, and the show runs November 7th through 23rd. To sign up for an audition slot and for show information and tickets, go to majestic.org. At the Mid-Valley Colleges and Universities, Chemeketa Community College's Theater Under the Stars presents Disney's Mary Poppins, July 29th through August 7th at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park. This beloved musical is directed by Stephen Munshaw. Coming up in today's program, I talk with choreographer Christopher Dean and actors Megan Smith and Benji Burgess about this practically perfect in every way, family-friendly musical. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com and search for Mary Poppins at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater. And that's a wrap for today's KMUZ Theater Talk calendar for plays and auditions at your favorite theaters. If your Mid-Willamette Valley Theater has a play or audition coming up that's not on our calendar, please send it our way at kmuztheatertalk@gmail.com. Coming up after the break, choreographer Christopher Dean and actors Megan Smith and Benji Burgess join me to talk about the practically perfect in every way Disney musical, Mary Poppins, playing July 29th through August 7th at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park. That's headed your way right after this. Calling all KMUZ listeners. The KMUZ Governing Board wants to hear from you. Please take 2 minutes to complete a survey about your KMUZ listening habits to help us serve you better. Go to kmuz.org and click on the survey icon. And thanks in advance. Joining me now are some folks from Mary Poppins, a Chemeketa Community College project that is playing at the Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Salem's Riverfront Park. It opens July 29th and runs through August 7th. And joining me are choreographer Chris Dean and Megan Smith, who plays Mary Poppins, and Benji Burgess, who plays Bert, my favorite chimney sweep. Welcome to KMUZ Theater Talk, everyone.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
So Mary Poppins is probably one of the most well-known and beloved films and musicals. It's supremely popular. Tell me a little bit, Chris, about why this particular show was chosen by the director, Stephen Munshaw, to come to Salem's Riverfront Park.
Last year we did Oliver, and when you plan a show and execute it, a lot of times a completely different evolution from what beginning to the point when we're open. And being in that park last summer, outdoors with the families and the picnic baskets and the live amphitheater and orchestra, I think it really moved us. Like, okay, we've got to do something on this scale. We've got families out for summer. They're bringing their kids out. And what could be more magical than Mary Poppins to bring to that environment in an open air situation? It presents its challenges, considering that Mary's known for flying and we're in a space that has no back or side walls. But just the magic of summer and family being together, the perfect weather. I think Mary Poppins was just the right choice for us, so we could combine the live music and the actors outdoors and just kind of create a real family environment.
Well, I can't imagine another production that's as good as the Oliver production was, but wow, look at this cast. How many people are in this show?
I think between 30 and 40 at this point. The entire creative team is running close to 60 or 70 people. But yeah, I think we're like 35, 38 actors in the show when you get down to everyone involved. So it is quite an undertaking.
So do you have kids in the show as well?
We do. You know, our primaries, Jane and Michael, are covering the bank's children. So it's always really fun to get the mix of these local Salem professionals and Portland professionals, and then to bring in these kids. And I would hardly even dance around the idea that the kids are not professionals. Both of them have quite a bit of theater experience. And so they are the types of kids that when they jump into rehearsal, you forget that you have children with you. They're making strong choices and they're assertive and professional. And so it is different. Oliver had, 10 to 12 younger kids. So that did feel a bit more like we were wrangling at times. The two of them have really jumped in and they have some unique connections. This is my third show with Coleman. And so he and I have a great professional working relationship. And then I'll let Megan tell you, we have a really interesting story between Mary Poppins and Jane this year in the cast. I'll let Megan touch on that.
Jane, who's played by Aria, is actually my daughter in real life. And this is her first production as a speaking character. She did The Little Mermaid as a jellyfish when I think she was 7 years old. But other than that, she actually doesn't have any on-stage theater experience. So this has been quite the challenge for her. But I remember after her callback, she got in the car and she immediately started crying. And I was like, "You did great. You're okay. What's wrong?" And she's like, "I just want it so bad." And I was like, whatever happens, it's okay. She's like, "I just want to be on stage with you." And I have played Mary Poppins previously at Pentacle Theater, and I have photos of her from when she was, I think she was 3 years old, and I'm dressed up as Mary Poppins, and she's just this little baby. And it's such a full circle moment, and honestly, a dream come true to be able to share this experience with her.
Well, I'm on the same base as you. I have two grown kids who are in their 20s, and we are a theater family. We've all four of us have been on stage together in a show together some years ago, and it's our family show now. Every time that show comes up, we all have to go and audition for it. Unfortunately, it's Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Oh,
So it's not like Mary Poppins, but doggone it, it's our family show. So I think you picked a good one to be in your daughter with. That's really terrific.
yeah, it's very near and dear to our hearts.
Megan, let me ask you kind of a strange question. I didn't think I'd ever asked this question before, but this show is originally written, and the film version and everything was originally written and set in Edwardian England. And I'm looking at the promo photograph, and it looks like you have a cell phone in your hand, and it
Yeah.
looks like Benji is wearing an on backwards baseball cap. What the heck?
Yes. So I never like to speak for our director Stephen, but I have heard him say that when he went to New York recently and saw the production of Sunset Boulevard, which had been kind of stripped down, it doesn't have really elaborate sets and costumes, and I believe it has been modernized somewhat as well, that he felt very inspired by that in the way that a good story is a good story and it can be timeless, but we can also bring it into modern times. And when you look at the heart of Mary Poppins is the family, and it's about bringing families together. And just like in Edwardian England, we are distracted by things currently as well. And a big part of that is technology. And so you'll see in the show, the children jump on their cell phones and Mary Poppins walks right over and takes them away from them. And so it's about making this timeless story in our time to show that those themes translate and are still relevant today.
Well, I think that's really terrific. And I couldn't agree more. Keeping our younger audiences connected to some of these decades-long stories, you really have to kind of work at it a little bit, you know? You have to make the show work in today's world. And I think that's part of the reason why there are so many different settings and designs behind a lot of shows. Shakespeare and the Greeks, even, you know? So
Yeah.
why not Mary Poppins? What the heck?
Yeah. And I hope when people see the poster, it makes them stop and go, wait a minute, why
Yeah.
does Mary Poppins have a cell phone? And
That's
maybe
exactly
that,
what I did. Yeah.
yeah, and maybe that inspires them to go, I've seen Mary Poppins before, but this might be different. And then they'll get tickets and come and see and be inspired all over again.
Well, you're still going to be practically perfect in every way, aren't you?
That's the goal always. Yes.
Benji, you're playing my favorite chimney sweep, who is named Bert. And you start the show and you act as a narrator from time to time. Tell me about your experience in this show and what you really love about it.
It's been about 4 years since I've been in production or anything. I kind of took a step back and took a sabbatical from performing. And Steven's been texting me for years now to come back and do shows. And this year just felt like a good opportunity to step back onto the stage. So I would have to say my favorite thing is getting to work with a bunch of creative people. I've done a couple shows with Christopher and Steven. This is my first time working with Megan, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And the kids are amazing. I don't think I've ever worked with anybody so young that is also so driven and talented and not completely full of themselves. They're very, very humble. And yeah, it's amazing to get to work with these amazing people.
That's good to hear because, a lot of times shows with kids can be a challenge.
It can be chaotic even.
Yeah, sometimes chaos is good in theaters, and sometimes it's a little frustrating. But what I'm looking forward to is the energy that kids can bring to a show like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have a bunch of young chimney sweeps that you're dancing with in this show?
So I think Michael and Jane are the youngest cast members we have.
Yeah, they're all young to us.
That's also true. And I'm getting used to, now that I'm in my 30s, I'm getting used to looking back and, thinking, okay, well, I'm not in my 20s. I'm not the young kid on the block anymore. So that's something I'm still getting used to right now. But we have a ton of talented chimney sweeps in the show. I really think this is going to be a magical production, especially with the setting and the scenery that we have under the stars. I mean, Mary Poppins, the music is timeless. So I'm very excited to bring this show to the stage here on Salem.
But the only two children we have are the Banks children. All of the other actors, as far as my knowledge goes, are 18 and older because we are partnered with Chemeketa Community College. And so many of them are Chemeketa students. And then you have the adult professionals that are in there as well.
I was thinking you guys were having more younger kids in this show than you do. So
no, and the first Mary Poppins that I did was predominantly young children, and that was a huge challenge. I mean, I think we had 6-year-old chimney sweeps. I mean, it was crazy.
I think it reads a little more realistic even in this version that the adults, we have this cast of like very versatile college students and professionals, and they're flipping in between each scene, playing, the bankers and tellers during precision and order to being the chimney sweeps. And we have so many different age groups and different body types. I think that's another part of this iteration that we're doing that is remarkable, because you see the same people in the park scene in Jolly Holiday, and then they flip to completely different characters. So it's really fun to not see the stereotypical expectation of a group of trained dancers who come out for step in time. What we're seeing is a little more realistic view of people and humanity, and that ties in with Stephen's modern idea of including technology as one of the primary distractions for young people. So his spin on it is allowing us to see a lot more relatable modern people and themes tied in with this musical that is an absolute classic. It's iconic, and we still have not changed a single line of the script. We haven't changed any of the music, so we're honoring the tradition and then giving it this really modern and realistic viewpoint.
Chris, I'm a real big fan of your choreography.
Thank you.
I'm sad that you and I never did get to finish working on a production together because we were interrupted by COVID times at the Elsinore Theater.
Yes.
And so my joy about your choreography is always there because I think you do a fantastic job. How has working with, I guess what I'm gathering, less experience and a more varied cast physically, how has that changed your approach to the choreography in this show?
Yeah, this is something that has really shaped the framework of who I am as a choreographer and what people remember me for. And that's my challenge, and that's the pride of actually what I do, is that I can't always audition and have 40 professional Juilliard dancers to be in a show, but I do have a cast of people who work hard. So from the audition point, I'm immediately assessing everyone. What do they bring to the table? What are their strengths? What do I see in them that's unique? And I need to feature that about you. No, you're not a Juilliard dancer, but you have this incredible sense of grasping the character, and how can I play to that in these numbers? So I do have a base level of, we're not going to get 36 pirouettes into this number, but what we are going to get is all these personalities, and it's my job to highlight that and to be creative and frame it in a way that works. At the same time, though, my cast knows you're dancers now, and I'm going to treat you like dancers. We're going to work through it, and I'm going to work on a level that you understand, and I have a unique perspective for teaching, but we're also going to raise the bar. So I think almost anyone I've worked with in a show like this walks away from the experience feeling a lot more confident and a lot more able to dance and to learn dance and wrap their head around it. And I teach them the 12-week program of dancer discipline and how to work like a professional dancer. And it works. I push them so hard. Sometimes I feel bad, but I never would admit it to them. But by the time they leave, they've grown, and I've still been able to achieve something that is really special for the audience. And we come up with unique ideas. We come up with gimmicks. We come up with fresh ways to approach it. And the audience is none the wiser. They still have a fantastic time.
Well, I saw that in person when we were working on The Drowsy Chaperone. And that's the part that I really missed out on. Is like,
Yeah.
I'm not a trained dancer. I'm primarily an actor who occasionally does a musical, and I love that. But when I work with choreographers, I want to learn something, you know?
Yes.
I want to work at it. Probably the hardest show I ever worked on previously to this was when I was quite a bit younger. I played Bobby in a chorus line, and I thought I was going to die.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it hurt so bad sometimes, and then I had to learn to soft shoe and kicking a line and all that sort of good stuff. And I'm like, hot damn, I'm a rockette.
Yes. I use that analogy quite a bit when I'm teaching because I did dance with the Radio City Rockettes. So they know that precision and formations and visuals, the steps don't matter. What matters is the storytelling and the visual interpretation. And the audience is seeing this dynamic, sizzling look at these high energy numbers. The energy is still translated. They're going to love it nonetheless. They don't know the pirouettes any more than some of the performers do, but we can still make the magic happen. And that's the goal. So I'm super excited. And the harder they work, then the more I raise the bar to the next level. And we are doing significantly huge portions of dancing in this show because they came with a willingness to learn, and they've attacked the information and rehearsed it. And the more they give me, the more I reciprocate. It's a very mutual energy during the creative process.
Well, when we're recording this today, it's about a month before opening night. So what do you hope the audience is going to take away from this show on opening night and ultimately the run of the show? What do you want them to value and take away from the show?
Oh gosh, that's such a good question. For me, I think about the heart of Mary Poppins, which is about where our focus is in our life. And I think, as a parent myself, I get bogged down in my work or seeking perfection from my children and putting pressure on them. But in the end, if we just focus on the love of our family, everything else kind of works out. And I love that. You see Mrs. Banks kind of come into her own in this show and embrace who she is, and then go, you know what, I'm going to go support my husband and be who he needs me to be. And Mr. Banks stands up for what he believes is right and not what the status quo or his business partners are telling him he should do, and embraces his children. And the children stop fighting and pushing people away, and they really embrace their family unit. And coming from a large family myself, it's irreplaceable.
I was going to ask about that.
They are going to cry. They're going to cry. It is so beautiful.
If there's a moment in this show that I treasure, that Feed the Birds song is so beautiful and so moving. And, just thinking about it, I get choked up. It's a beautiful, gorgeous moment.
And I think the important thing to take away from that moment is the true beauty in life is in the small, mundane, and ordinary things that we see every day. And if we would just take our noses out of our phones and look up, we would see it.
Yeah. And small acts of kindness, she's
exactly
feeding the birds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Small acts of kindness kind of build up over time and make it a better world.
And Chris, what is your hope that the audience will love and take away from the show?
I completely agree with Megan and Benji's sentiment there. Sometimes I'm hesitant to change. I love tradition, and I'm older than most people in the cast, almost everyone. When I see things like Mary Poppins, that's for me, being 45 years old, that was a tradition growing up, and I'm always hesitant to change. However, I'm aware that I can't possibly compete with the original movie. And even the Broadway iterations are so incredible that I want to stick with tradition, but I need to do it my way, and that's what I'm being hired for. So that blend of me giving it my perspective, but I've also done my research, and I have things inspired by the traditions, and you'll see little moments that are tributes to the origins of Mary Poppins. We very much stick to the beauty and the history of the original versions, and I lend a lot of the choreography to honor those. But then with Steven's idea with the technology, I wasn't sure how that would play out. And I think the takeaway is going to be that children who are younger now, it's harder for them to understand historical impressions and to appreciate the beauty of something so iconic. When they see kids with cell phones, it's going to draw attention to them. They're going to have a bigger takeaway from that because they can relate to it. But all the music and the lines are still there. So they're still going to get the beauty of the original take on Mary Poppins. And again, like Benji and Megan said, with different classes of people being featured and how we treat those who are less fortunate and how we view and respect other humans on this earth, without diving into anything that's on the nose politically or socially or culturally, we're making a statement. You're seeing modern day people in modern clothes who are different socioeconomic levels finding love and respect for each other and relationships. And I just think that this is the perfect time for something like that. And I think children and adults will be like, oh my gosh, I learned a modern day lesson from this very traditional musical.
And I think Benji's right. I don't think there'll be a dry eye in the house because even myself on stage, I have to try to not look at the children when I'm singing this song because I turn and I look at Coleman and during the line, when someone shows that he cares, and immediately I start getting choked up, and I definitely can't look at my daughter because I just lose it because it's such a beautiful moment. And if I come out of it at all and go, oh my gosh, I'm sharing this beautiful moment with my daughter, I lose it. And at the end, when Mary Poppins is saying goodbye, I heard the kids off stage go, is she crying? And they're like, oh my gosh, she's so good. And I was like, no, I'm just really emotional. I'm not acting at all. I didn't tell them that. I wanted to think, yeah, be really impressed. But I'm like, no, I'm actually breaking character right now.
You can't help but hope that that's going to happen because the source material is so wonderful with music and lyrics by the Sherman Brothers and additional lyrics with George Stiles and Anthony Drew and a book by, for crying out loud, Julian Fellows, who has gone on to bring us so many insightful television programs and series. This is a supreme achievement. It's fantastic stuff to work with, right?
It is. And I would just like to praise Christopher a little bit because he really is exceptional as a choreographer. He sets really high expectations, but the entire time you feel like he's your biggest cheerleader too. He's saying, you can do this, you can do this. And like you, Ed, I was like, hey, I'm a strong mover. I'm not a dancer. And he would look at me and be like, you're fine. You can do it. Like, this guy is crazy. Like I would go home and my husband would be like, are you all right? And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. It's been 10 years and this choreographer is a rockhead. It's crazy. But he's right. We're all doing it and we're all getting there. And so his belief in us really propels us and helps us to want to practice at home because we're like, we want to impress Christopher and we don't want him to have to change his choreography. We can do it. During one of the songs, I was like, hey, remember, I still have to sing. And he's like, it's just a 16-bar dance break. It's fine. I'm like, okay.
Well, Schmecketa Community College presents Disney's and Cameron Macintosh's version of Mary Poppins, based on the books, original film, and the Broadway productions as well. This is going to happen July 29th and run through August 7th in evening performances at Salem's Gerry Frank Amphitheater in Riverfront Park. Mary Poppins is practically perfect in every way. Go and see this show. You're going to have a blast. And you can get tickets by searching for Mary Poppins at eventbrite.com. And I want to thank my guest, Megan Smith, who's playing Mary Poppins, Benji Burgess, who playing Bert the Chimney Sweep, and the amazing Christopher Dean, who is the choreographer, for joining me here on KMUZ Theater Talk. break a leg, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's time to wind up today's KMUZ Theater Talk program. Thanks a million for listening. KMUZ Theater Talk comes your way at 9 a.m. the first and third Friday of every month on KMUZ at 100.7 and 88.5 FM. Also on KMWV FM Dallas at 98.3 HD2 and streaming worldwide at kmuz.org and on the KMUZ mobile app. If you'd like to share this program with your friends and hear more behind the curtain interviews, open up your favorite podcast app and subscribe to KMUZ Theater Talk. I'll be back August 1st with a brand new KMUZ Theater Talk program. Meanwhile, see the KMUZ Theater Talk Facebook page for news and updates about live theater in the Mid-Willamette Valley. Next Friday at 9 a.m. on KMUZ 100.7 FM, you can hear Talking About Art with Joel Zack. KMUZ Theater Talk is proud to partner with the Mid-Valley Theater Network and with Press Play Salem. And until next time, I'll see you in the front row.